Hello, my loves. Stasha, the period coach here. I'm doing something fun right now, and I'm doing some of the travel and packing tips in Flow that I've been putting together. I'm also going to be doing some videos on writing in Flow coming up, and I just thought it would be fun to talk to you guys about how I packed in Flow. I have left for a 6+ month tour, heading to Australia, Bali, Hawaii. It's going to be crazy and amazing, and I'm flying pretty much once a week every week until I get to Bali. So I'm doing a lot of packing. And how do you pack for 6 months when you're really just taking a single suitcase and not an enormous one that I can deal with on the road, and a backpack? I was thinking about how I was gonna pack for this and how I could do this in Flow. And I came up with a few things that seemed to work really well, so I thought, who better to share it with than you guys? So today we're going to talk about packing in Flow. So really it began with my Loodle phase. It's your nest and rest phase, and it's really the time that I start thinking about all of the lists and the things that have to get done, and it can feel really overwhelming because you feel like you have to do them in that moment. When you take a step back and realize, I'm in my Loodle phase, I want to be making lists, I want to be nesting, I want to be getting things organized. So rather than go doing that right now, what I'm gonna do is just work on those lists. So what I did during my Loodle phase was actually keep a list of everything I wanted to be sure that I took, and I did some of my shopping during my Loodle phase. It was just nice to be able to go, okay, I need green powder for the airport that has no weird stuff in it that'll boost my immune system while I'm in airports for 48 hours. I need to grab some extra backups of this, that, and the other. I want some travel deodorant wipes, like just those little things that make traveling a little bit easier. So I put those lists together during my Loodle phase, and then ran out and enjoyed a shop with just worrying about my trip and nothing else. It was fun. It felt great. It actually made me feel kind of excited about all of the travel that was about to come, even though all of that travel was about to come. So that's one way of really enjoying your Loodle phase and still making progress on your trip. Now, I have found that putting my clothes together during my menstrual phase was really a great idea. One thing that I realize when I'm traveling is that ultimately I just want to be comfortable, and at no point in my cycle do I want to be comfortable more than during my menstrual phase. So I did a lot of my choices during my menstrual phase. I found myself going, no, this is just not as comfortable as that. And at the end of the day, I want to be comfortable as much as possible. I'm not going to wear this as much as I'm gonna wear that. Another thing was that I felt like everything needed to have two purposes, and during my menstrual phase, it was a lot easier for me to see what kind of things I could use more than once than during my other phases. Just something about that logic and creativity that's happening during your menstrual phase really allowed me to see things in a different perspective. So I really did a lot of my clothes picking during my menstrual phase. That cozy factor was amazing. And I've done this before, and it's really paid off. I spent 6 months traveling around the United States 2 years ago, and this is one of the things that I did was just focus on making sure I was bringing some really comfy clothes. And guess what I wore 99% of the time? The comfy clothes. So I have a couple of outfits for the fancy stuff, but otherwise, comfiness really ruled the roost, and that menstrual phase is perfect for that. So then you move into your follicular phase. This is really a great time to start organizing stuff, to make sure you've got all of the things to do the logistics, the how, the planning. So you really get into all of that logistics stuff during this phase. It's a great time to be looking at your tickets to make sure you've got everything you need, make sure you've got your visas, your passports, all of those things are up to date. So the follicular phase is a really good time to do all the paperwork, travel planning, and organizing. And then lastly, your ovulation phase. It's a really short phase, but if you can, fly during that time. Your immune system's the highest, your energy is the highest. It's just the easiest to get around and get things done. Also, because you're ovulating, your face is more symmetrical, people want to give you things, and getting those amazing upgrades can be even easier during your ovulation phase. So if you can plan it that way, go for it. What have you got to lose? And at the very least, you'll have the energy and the immune system to be sitting on a plane with all of those people way easier than in any other phase of your cycle. So that's just some of my favorite tips on traveling and Flow. I hope that that was helpful for you. Even if it's just a road trip, a couple hours away, maybe even think about what phase you're in now and see if you can't embrace some of that to make it a little bit easier on yourself. I hope you're enjoying all of my travel pics. If you aren't following me on Instagram or Facebook, get over there. I'll put the links below. As always, Overy Gang, you are the best. Peace out. I'll see you next week.